So here's the deal. So I want to help you break down some of your marketing assets that you have into content. Because the reality is, if you spent time creating content, there's a lot of value to that. So now you need to drive people to that. But the problem is, if you are trying to drive people to all of it at one time, that's where we get lost. Good morning. How's it going? I see some faces I like to see every day, every week. Okay, so today we're going to talk about, we're going to break down content that you have. So I hope if y'all watched my live video in the Facebook group, I didn't really announce it anywhere else this week because I was like, I'm just going to talk to you guys because you're all in my Facebook group. So today, and this actually question was inspired because I told you, I love it when people give me a question. I'm like, yeah. Give me something to talk about because I want to know, Juliana, what are you eating? Looks good.
Cottage cheese, sourdough, and an egg, soft-boiled egg.
Look at that. See, yummy. Protein, baby. Oh, we got some protein breakfast going on. By the way, the other guy, you guys, I talked to a lender of mine the other day, and she's making her own sourdough, and apparently it's really easy to make sourdough. Did any of you make sourdough?
I have.
What did you do during the pandemic? It was like all the rage between coffee and sourdough starter. I did all the pandemic things. I got chicken restaurant that would allow me to eat inside. That's what I did during the pandemic because I wanted to support all these small businesses and watch them get through. I got super bored. And at home, what did I do at home? God, what did I do during the pandemic? That feels like should have made sourdough. That's when it really blew up. Okay, well, sourdough became a thing. Apparently, I'm missing out on something here because I didn't realize that sourdough was like a thing, but apparently it's super easy to make. And so she's like, I'm going to make you a loaf. I'm like, please do. You could just make me all the loaves and I can just pretend that I can say that I'm eating homemade sourdough. Anyhow, that's totally off track. Okay, so back to the whole beginning of this call, when I was not off track, I was talking about how what I love is when people give me content. Because I'll tell you what, man, like talking about content all the time, I feel like I talk about it all the time, but I'm like, do you guys actually want to hear what I have to say? And the answer is yes, because people ask me. So the question I got this week, and I'll never call out the person who gave me the question. They can speak up if they'd like to, but hold on, let me read the question. It was... I'm feeling lost on what daily actions I can be taking other than creating reels with local content. I feel like we have all these pieces, our seller book, seminar, buyer process, seller process, seminar, buyer seminar, YouTube, relocation guide, and I don't know how to put it all together. How many of you feel that way? How many of you have bunches and bunches of marketing assets, but you're trying to figure out like, how do I actually like put it into something that's going to make the time that I put into creating it worthwhile? Because how much time do you put behind creating a relocation guide? How much money do you put? Even if you're creating it yourself, your time is money. So if your hourly rate is $200 an hour, $300 an hour, which I think every real estate agent should be aiming for a $200 to $300 an hour rate at minimum. If it took you 8 hours to create a relocation guide, what's the math on that? 2 times 8. What is that? How much is that? $1,600? Thank you. I sell houses. I don't do loans. Okay. So $1,600. That's $1,600. So if it took you 8 hours to create a relocation guide at a bare minimum rate of $200, that's $1,600 that you could have probably outsourced to somebody else and, paid a little bit less money. And been able to make a lot more because it's all the time that's there. Okay. So anyway, that's not the point. The point is, if you have all of these marketing assets, well, how do you actually put them together? And what do you actually do with them? Because the great thing is we create these things and then it's like, we don't really know what to do. Then we go out and we're like, okay, I'm going to create this asset. And then I'm going to go and put a bunch of content on Instagram. Then I put a bunch of content on Facebook. But none of that content that you're actually putting out has to do with the stuff you already created. You understand what I'm talking about? It's like we sit there and we create these things, and then it's like, oh, okay, it falls flat. So here's the deal. So I want to help you break down some of your marketing assets that you have into content. Because the reality is, if you spent time creating content, like physical assets, that is value. There's a lot of value to that. So now you need to drive people to that. But the problem is, if you are trying to drive people to all of it at one time, that's where we get lost. Are you with me? You with me? Okay, cool. So I don't have any slides today. I'm just going to talk. I'm just going to talk at you, okay? Because I it's just me this week, so nothing got done. If you're waiting for something from me, I'm sorry. It just didn't get done this week. So it's just me. So can't do anything by myself. Okay, so here's the deal. Let's talk about relocation guides. How many have a relocation guide? Thumbs up in the chat, wave on the camera or something. Okay, we have a few people with a relocation guide. How many have a buyer guide? Okay, more people have a buyer guide. How many people have a seller guide? Okay, how many of you have like videos on YouTube that you're creating? How many of you have like email drip campaigns that you're creating? Right? Okay, so there's a lot. Okay, cool. So let's say you have a buyer guide. Let's break it down. I'm actually going to, let me pull up a buyer guide. Does anyone have a buyer guide they want to share with me? And I can do yours instead of my own. No? Okay, cool. Let me pull up mine. Let me find it. 1 second here. So I want to show you.
I'll share mine with you.
Just please.
How do I share it with you? Share my screen?
Yeah, you have to share your screen.
Okay, forgot how to do that.
We're putting you on the spot, Andrea. Here we go.
Okay. Host disabled, participant screen sharing.
Nope, try again. We just made you co-host.
Okay. Okay, so now what am I doing? Looking for...
You want to find your buyer guide on your computer. There you go. We have a lot of tabs open. Not judging. Just commenting.
It's me. That's my... I gotta find where are they? Sorry. There you go.
Not a real realtor. Lynea, you are not a true realtor unless you have 500 tabs open.
That is not true. I'm 100% a real realtor, and I only have five total tabs open.
No, you have to be like 500 to be legit. I'm just saying.
That's it. That's how you
know what? And the secret is I have like 4 windows open.
Should I put that on my my marketing plan?
Absolutely.
It's really funny. I don't understand that, you guys. I just cannot. Whoa. Okay. So Andrea, let's go through and let's take a look at the second page.
That's pretty.
Okay. Right here.
That's pretty.
So here's a couple of things. So let's just scroll through it. We're going to read through it. I'm going to read through it real quick.
Damn it.
See, look at, you have all these windows open. This is what happens.
Well, I know. I'm trying to find the side to scroll. There we go. I had to move all of you people over. Okay, I'm going to take you down. All right. Okay. So I'm scrolling.
So I take my business seriously. My goal is to have you walk away trusting that I'll be your go-to real estate professional for life. Other agents who are frustrated with the surge of technology, I embrace it. I thrive on providing. Okay, keep going. If you are looking for a real estate professional you can trust, act on your behalf and provide a service, represent me and my team. We'll get the job done right. Okay. Go to the next page.
This is just
the credentials. Yep. Go to the next page. Okay. Core values. This is what I was looking for. Okay. Core values. How many of you have core values clearly defined in your business? I see 1 or 2 or 3 hands raised. Okay. So if you don't have core values clearly defined in your business, first of all, I highly recommend you get them defined in your business. I have 5. They spell the word dream. So I have the dream method. Okay. I have my dream values. Everything's about the word dream. Okay. Buying and selling home. It all starts with a dream. Okay. Dream. Here's what they stand for: determination, respect, enthusiasm, accountability, and mastery. Those are my 5. And those go on every single piece. So Andrea, great job in putting it in your communication when you actually give this to somebody. How do you communicate this to people when you're not giving this to them?
Well, if it's a buyer, I think the first time I talk to them, well, I don't know. I guess I don't directly communicate. I send them this guide.
Great. So this is where like, you guys, this is a piece of content right here. So in our content pillars, we have a behind the scenes or a team pillar. Okay. That's one of the content pillars that I teach, behind the scenes and team. This is a great example of behind the scenes. So you could easily take this and put this into a pretty Canva presentation. Let me see if I can find my one that I showed you. And you could do that right there from your core value. You don't have to stop sharing for a second. I'm just going to see if I can find it real quick here. But you could easily take your core values and turn that into a piece of content, right? So your piece of content is simply just a carousel which talks about your core values. So here's an example real quick. I will show you mine. I'm getting there.
Tell me to admit people that are trying to get in.
They'll get in. They're coming. There's someone else monitoring it. Yeah. I just
co-host.
Yeah, you're like, no, I see it. Okay. Now I see it. Okay, and then I'll show you another piece of content here too that you can create with this. So core values content is something you should all actually create. Bear with me. I'm going to show you what it looks like here. Gotta scroll through my content, you guys. So you're going to take this and you're going to do something just like this. So I'm going to actually take over sharing for just a minute. If you want to stop sharing for just a second, get ready to share again though. Okay. So y'all are going to do something just like this with your core values. Okay. Our dream values. And this is a great piece of content to put out. Oops. I'm trying to move it. You guys are in the way. Here we are. I had the same problem, Andrea. Okay. So it's a great piece of content to put out. And it's literally just me talking about our core values. This is what we do. Our dream values: determination, respect, enthusiasm. I changed A this year. This was last in 2023. Like advocacy, right? What does it mean? Here's what it actually means. So I put a bullet pointed statement behind everything, and mentorship, right? And so then on my content, it's literally the call to action is, what are some of your core values and how do they guide you in your business and your life? Now, is this going to be a high engaging piece of content? No, but there are going to be people that look at this content. If you look at this on Instagram, you're going to see that, yeah, there were 179 people that saw this. Okay, and you have to remember, with less than 2,000 followers, last year I closed over $10 million from Instagram. So even though there's only 179 people saw this, you better believe that what you're doing right here with a piece of content like this directly from your own buyer's guide, your own seller's guide, you're basically you're teaching your audience who you are and what kind of people you want. Because I don't want people that are going to work with me who are not enthusiastic. Okay, you can probably figure that out. I'm a very enthusiastic person. I like to be around enthusiasm. I hate being around boring people. So, and you can't really say that I hate being around boring people, but you can say I love to be around enthusiastic people. So creating a piece of content as simple as this is what you could easily do, Andrea. So you should go do that.
Okay. On my list, because I don't have any videos to post yet.
Love it. There you go. And you can see it's really easy. So I just did one photo of me here with like a pretty whatever. I didn't even design this. Someone on my team did. But we just did one photo here. And then the rest of it was just my brand colors. It was super easy. Like it's not even a lot. Right. And the trick with carousels on Instagram is that just like reels, you want them to be engaging. The reason why carousels work well for engagement is because people have to click through them. So you see how long someone's going to stay on this post. They're not going to get everything they need from that first slide. So you could just easily post something that's like our core values, or if you have an acronym, our dream values. Okay, well, I'll be sure again in a second. Nicole, do you have a question about that?
Yeah, so I noticed that you had about 17.2% for non-followers that saw that
Yep.
content. Did you run an ad behind that, or is that all organic?
All organic.
Okay.
I don't believe in running ads on content until it proves that it actually does what I want it to do. And if I am running an ad, it's only a retargeting audience or a lookalike audience. So the most I'm spending is $2 a day.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Andrea, you want to share again? I can give you another piece of idea. Is it helpful for people to kind of see what you already, because you already have the content. Like, let's just create content out of what you already have. Okay, let's go. Let's move on down. What else we got? Let's go to the extra mile. Okay, here we go. This is an easy one, Andrea. I've got 5 videos you can create right now.
Yeah, totally.
6 videos you can create right now, really. Because the first video is 5 easy steps to purchase your new home. And you could do an easy short form content. Let me see if I can find one that I can share with you here. Let me find a piece of short form content. Here we are. So this isn't exactly the same, but here I'll share and show you this one.
Do you want me to stop sharing?
Yeah. So you could easily do your first video is like 6 steps to buying a home or 5 steps to buying a home. And it could be something super easy and simple like that. Okay, this is great because this is going to be really good reach content because this one reached 82% of non-followers organically. So this is like really good reach content. Then what you do, if you're taking it right down the content funnel correctly, right? 6 steps to buying a home or 5 steps to buying a home. That's going to be what grabs people. And then the nurturing piece of that is going to be little short form videos like this that are about all the other ones, all the other steps in there. So there's 6 videos you can create. And the cool thing is if you want to share your screen again, I can show you something. The cool thing is you already have your content, your caption, your copy written. It's already here.
Yeah.
Like here's 5 easy steps to purchase your new home, right? And then you can make your call to action is something simple like, stay tuned for more, right? Easy. Or if you want to know more, send me a DM or comment below or something like that's your call to action. And then for the next 5 videos, you've got your 5 pieces of content right here that also already have the copy written. So you don't really have to think. It's already done. Genius. Okay. So there you go. So do this. You can probably go through how many pages do you have in this guide?
I have 16.
Yeah. So what's the last one? Client testimonials. That's another great one. Go there. So client testimonials, this is a great way to share a testimonial for a client. You guys just easily you don't even have to really think about it. And I would never, ever share client testimonial. I don't really like client testimonial like that. But
you don't like them in a guide like this?
I don't like client testimonials that just say a post. It's like client testimonial.
Oh.
No. But what I do like is something. Hold on. Where is it? Is it this one?
Do you want me to stop sharing?
Yeah, that's fine. I can show you. What I do like, and you want to remember, client testimonials are not going to be content that's going to like engage people. Like it's not going to grab people. Client testimonials are content that's going to convert people. So when you think about the content funnel, you want to think about like the short form stuff is the stuff that like it's kind of very general, right? Like the 5 steps to buying a home. It's more of a generalized piece of content. The client testimonials, that's the stuff that converts people. That's the stuff that people watch, and that's where they're like, oh, I really like this. So check out this one. Here's an example of client testimonial. So this is a testimonial.
The red it always looks worse. It looks more, it looks better.
So this is a testimonial where like I put the house on the market once. They got an offer. It was $200,000 lower than the list price. We turned around, put $30,000 into paint and just like kind of refreshing the home. We got $400,000 more when we did that.
Wow.
So it's a great testimonial. So when you have those testimonials, what all you want to do, Andrea, for those is you could create a simple video, like use the content that you filmed, like when you were there walking through or whatever, and do something super simple like this and just plug their testimonial in here.
Okay.
So then you're not doing something that's like, got a review, 5-star review, because 5-star review isn't necessarily like, I mean, that's great. We got a 5-star review, but you have to remember that what people want is they want the story behind what you're doing. Because stories are what actually convert people, not just like the client testimonial, if that makes sense. So you have so much content right there, Andrea. You could probably go make, I would say probably 2 months worth of content from just your buyer's guide alone.
Awesome.
Do it. I want to see it.
Awesome. Because I was just sitting here thinking, I got to film some videos and I got to go like research it. And
no, you don't. You already got it done. It's already there. Okay. Does it help? Does that help a lot of you? I hope. Like if you have a buyer's guide, I encourage you to go and just use what you already have. You don't have to rewrite it all. And I went through this most recently too, because I don't know if you saw my post on Facebook. I put it out on Instagram too, but how I kind of went through a little social media hiatus. So at the beginning of the year, I went and I paid a company a lot more money than I would like to ever admit to teach me how to go viral on social. Okay. But the reality is I have taught so many of you how to close business from social media without actually going viral. And I kind of forgot about that myself, right? I was like, I actually know how to do this. I teach this to people all the time. I have a course that's actually rolling out right now. If you guys are interested, I'll put the link in there. It's 50% off until July 5th. But it is literally, I teach you exactly how I've closed over $50 million in sales from Facebook and Instagram. And it's by being a better storyteller. It's by taking the time that I'm putting behind the content that I'm already creating. We have assets, tons and tons and tons of assets. We have buyer's guides. We have seller's guides. Those, just so you know, are also your email drip campaigns. So if you're having a hard time getting conversions from your emails, because the reality is email is what's going to convert people long-term. You can spend all the money you want in the world on retargeting, and that's going to help. But people don't necessarily reach out to you on Facebook and say, oh, I saw your retargeting ad. That's why I want to buy from you, right? No, they're reaching out to you because they've seen your emails and your content and this and that, right? So they've seen all of these things, and they're most likely reaching out to you on email or calling you on the phone.
Yes.
So if you're using your content that you've already put into your buyer's guides, and you have a buyer campaign that you want to start getting more creation or more conversion from, utilize the content you have. Just make it into a series of emails. So Andrea, you have 6 series of follow-up emails right there.
6, what do you mean 6 series?
So you have 6 follow-up emails right there. You have there's 5 steps to buying a home, right? And then the next email is step number 1. Then next email, step number 2. And you could plug your video in there. So what I would do is if you create a little piece of content for Instagram with step number 1 on your buyer, how to buy a house, I would then create an email to follow up with that. And in the email, I would put a link to Instagram and be like, in the email, I talk a little bit about it more. I talk a little bit more about it here. So you drive people right back to your social channels. And once they started engaging with your social channels, then you can start putting them on a retargeting audience.
Love it.
So I would say you all have a ton of content. Does anybody else want me to take a look at what you have and give you some ideas? Anybody want to share?
Can you repeat that?
Hmm?
Can you repeat what you just said, please?
Which part?
Would anybody like to share? I didn't catch that part.
Does anybody else have some content, like some guide or whatnot that you want me to help you break down into some content and give you a content plan?
I will here in a second.
Okay, just going to pull it up. Seller's guide. Yeah, do the same thing with your seller's guide. You want listings? Do it with your seller's guide because you guys have it, right? So it's really if you have all this time, you're putting all this time you got to drive people back to it is my point. You got to drive people back to your content, and you don't have to recreate the wheel. And I'm going to give you one other tip is that just because you put a video out one time with something like Andrea, if you go and create a step number 1 to buying a home video today, and just because you put it out one time does not mean you cannot put that same video out with maybe a different visual and the same copy 20,000 more times, and everyone's actually going to remember what it says. So that's the great thing about content. Content is recyclable. I really, to give you guys the truth, I really only have 40 pieces of content that I recycle over and over and over and over and over again. I don't actually write fresh content all the time. Go back and look at my stuff. Now you're going to look at me like, oh yeah, I heard that story a while ago. But I change up a couple of words. I change up the image. I change up sometimes it's a picture that I put into a video. Right? It's the same thing. I just put it out all over again. And I've actually taken content directly from Instagram, wrote the copy on Instagram, and then I turned that into a YouTube video with the exact same copy that I put on Instagram. So really, you only need a few pieces of content and just recycle it over and over again. Juliana.
All right, I'll share my screen here. I just need access to be able to.
Hold on. I think someone has to give you access here.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it.
I don't either.
I don't know how to.
I think participants. I think we need to click on participants.
There you are. You got it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. There we go. So let's go back up to the first page. Okay. So we've got a great personal piece of content right here. That's actually a great image that you could just use. And what I would put on Instagram is I would just bullet point that. I would tell a little bit of the story behind how you guys met. And then here's the bullet points of what we do.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. Keep going. Is this a reload guide?
Yeah.
Okay. Reload's so here's what I would do. Okay, cool. So you have what's around Fort Collins, Cheyenne, Wyoming, TPC Golf Course, Denver, Eldora Mountain. You have all these things. Okay, this is great pieces of collaboration content is what I call it, or local guide content, however you want to do it. Maybe you already do a lot of that on Instagram, but this is what I would do is I would actually take a day, and how fun is this? Take a day and go to these areas and start pointing out some of the great things in these areas with just some short form content. And then your call to action is very simply, you want to make sure that like Cheyenne, Wyoming, you're putting 45 minutes north of Fort Collins or whatever, right? So you want to make sure you're always putting north of Fort Collins. Like all of your content wants to say Fort Collins if you're trying to get found for Fort Collins. You want to do that on Instagram because Instagram is an SEO friendly platform. So you want to pay like, check out this awesome thing in Cheyenne, Wyoming, 45 minutes north of Fort Collins, and just have a day where you're like just shooting short form content. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you have Cheyenne's a big area, so you could probably spend a whole day there and get about 100 pieces of content.
Yeah, we were just up in Red Feather last weekend, so we have content for that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what I would do is on Instagram, there's an awesome feature called collaboration.
Yeah.
Collaboration feature, that's what I would do with everything. And what I do to get people to accept my collaboration invite is I just tell them, hey, can you accept if you like the content, can you accept the collaboration invite that I'm going to send you on Instagram, and just plug it into their brain that that's what you're going to do. You have a higher chance of them actually accepting it. So you have a ton of content right around there.
So I'd need to find businesses in Red Feather.
Yeah, you could do driving tours. Driving tours are great. Like you could do a driving tour from driving from Fort Collins to Red Feather. Driving tours do really well. And what I do is I put a caption like this. Let me see if I can find one for you. I know I've got one right here. Okay, where did it go? I have one here, so I can show you this one.
Here, I'll stop.
So this one, super easy. Super simple. Just a driving tour. What's the drive like from Fort Collins to Cheyenne? Right? Super easy driving tour. And that, like, literally, I had my husband. I was like, babe, film this. He was like, what? I was like, film it. He's like, seriously? I said, yeah, just film me driving across the bridge. He was like, okay. Right? So you can do a lot of driving tours like that. And then, it's not going to be as much collaboration, but it does help as far as the converting people from your social media channels. It helps you get people further down that funnel. So that's what I would do is like driving tours. I would do collaboration support or collaboration with some small businesses in the area. Also, you could just do content with you just like walking through a park and your favorite things about Fort Collins, Colorado. And then your call to action for that is obviously driving people to your relocation guide. And instead of saying, are you thinking about moving to Fort Collins? You could be like, you're curious about more of what happens in Fort Collins? Check out our guide. So it doesn't always have to be thinking about moving. It can be like, what's going on in Fort Collins? You want to know more? I personally love Colorado, so I'd probably sign up for that. And you never know. One day I might move to Colorado. You know what I mean? So even though we always want to put call to action, you thinking about buying, you thinking about selling, thinking about this, like it's not always the call to action.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Was this helpful for anybody? Okay, good. Because I know you all have content out there. I know you do, because the reality is that content lives forever. I hear a lot of people saying that it doesn't live forever, but it's not true. It totally does. So, okay. Well, I hope that was helpful. Like I said, I have a course that I'm launching right now. It's launching officially on July 6th. But it is right now 50% off. So if you are interested in learning how to actually convert business from social media on a much deeper level, this is going to be the course for you. I've closed over $50 million from Facebook and Instagram alone. So that is what it's all about. So anyway, let me know and send me a DM if that's something you're interested in. And I will see you all next week.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.